Hey, what is up, everyone? I am here to give you my Walking Dead review, like I do every single Tuesday. And this episode is called Secrets. It's Season 2, Episode 6. And it came out on November 20th, 2011. Now that I got the statistics out of the way, I can tell you about who wrote it. But I really don't give a shit about that. I could tell you who was the actors. Don't give a shit about that. I want to talk to you about the actual episode itself. And this episode was good. I thought further the storyline. It was like not an action-y episode, but more of a storyline episode. It starts out with Carl, who is with his mother Lori, and they're feeding the chickens, Carl, I guess, is fully recovered from his injuries because he's back on his feet again. Which I guess isn't a good reason or time to cover because he was injured from the first episode of this season, I think, until now. So, well, until like the last episode. So, yeah. I wonder how much time, by the way, goes by during the episodes themselves. If it's like a week, or if it's like a couple of days, I don't know. But anyhow, there's technically I don't know. But I'm not even gonna figure that out. Carl is giving Lori a hard time about how she's a housewife, which is actually pretty funny. And Lori's like, well, there's no house or something for us to live in. And then he sees Maggie, no, not Maggie, Patricia, who was Otis's wife. And I think he talks about how crazy she is because her mother got eaten by a zombie, so now she's a walker. And then it gets kind of crazy. We see Patricia take one of the chickens, and she breaks his legs and feeds the walkers that are in the bone, which I thought was a little bit strange. Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit, it was just strange. And then it cuts to the theme song, and then it doesn't really cut to the real time, because technically they usually show flashbacks when they show this stuff, but it cuts to the actual, I guess, to the episode. And it started out with, I don't even remember how it started. I think Glenn was looking inside the binoculars at the bone, and Maggie comes up and says, "Don't tell anybody about this. You got to keep this a secret because there's a reason why we have these zombies in the bone. You just can't tell anybody." And Glenn's like, "I'll try, but I'm not a very good liar." And yeah. And then he comes up to Lori, and he asks Lori if she needs any help because he had like fruit and jerky, and he's like, "You take my share. You need to gain the weight." And Lori's like, "You should you don't need to do this. Just keep your mouth shut about this and stuff." And yeah, so they can see why this episode's called Secrets, because Glenn has to keep a lot of secrets. And then Daryl is he doesn't have a big role in this episode. I think this is the only time you really see him. He's in the tent, and Andrea. Or Andrea. It's definitely Andrea. It's definitely Andrea. That's the name I'm going to stick with. I've been saying that for, I think, since this fucking season started. So I'm going to go with Andrea. And if it's not Andrea, then too damn bad. I'm going to stick with it. Because I'm sick and tired of saying Andrea or Andrea. I know it's like my catchphrase, but catchphrase have to fucking die sometimes. I definitely think it's Andrea this time, though. Comes in and gives Daryl a book that she said sucked. And Daryl's like, "What, no pictures?" And she apologized. She's like, "If you need me to do anything after I shot you, I'm do anything. I don't expect you to forgive me." And Daryl says, "You were just trying to protect the group, so I forgive you." And Daryl says, "Next time you shoot me, though, you better hope I'm dead." And then the group, which I guess Rick's, well, it's just really Rick, Shane, and that other guy. I forget his name. And they're gonna start looking for new positions to look for Sophia. And Sophie and they don't want them to go separately anymore after what happened with Dale the last episode. And then afterwards, Glenn comes up and hands fruit, and he's acting really weird, and they notice it, because he has to keep all these secrets. And then Glenn, what else happens? Glenn ends up, I think, handing Shane back his binoculars, and Patricia and some other chick, I don't remember her name, come up and want to learn how to shoot a gun, since Otis was the only one that learned, and sorry, I'm a little off today, but since he was the only one that could really know how to use the gun and defend the group, they want to start to learn how to defend the group, and looks like, alright, I'm going to have to take this up with Herschel, because he's not very happy that we're doing any of this or something. That we're doing stuff without asking their permission. Don't tell me my audio's off. Hi. My fucking audio's off. I think it is. I think it's fixed. Let me check. My camera's being really weird today. Well, my webcam on the laptop, anyways. Yeah, it's fucking, the audio's off. Let's really test it. Okay, I think it's fixed now. I'm so sorry that I just wasted your time, but I just had to make sure my audio is working. I wonder if I should restart the video. Nah. I don't even remember where I was at. I wonder if I should just restart the video. Oh, so yeah, I guess the gun shop part. Rick and Shane are gonna teach them how to use guns, and then afterwards, Carl comes up and he wants Shane to teach him how to use a gun, and he says he's gonna ask his parents about that, and then Carl's like, "What do you got?" No, Shane. Yeah, Shane's like, "What do you got there?" And he shows Carl had a gun underneath his pants, and Dale's like, "It's all my fault. He wanted to go into the RV, and then he explored and found the gun." And Dale was like, and then Carl really wants to learn, and Shane's like, "Carl really wants to learn how to use a gun, and I'd be happy to teach him." And Lori was like, "I don't want him to learn how to use a gun because he already's been shot." And Lori's just pretty much being like the concerned mother that she normally is. And she also says, what else does she say? That pretty much that Rex doesn't like fully agree with it, but he's like, he's growing up, he's got to be treated like an adult, and it's better than being afraid of guns, and he could use the protection, and Lori's like, he could be protected right here. And then Carl says he really wants to learn how to use a gun so he can find Sophia. Lori's like, "You better take this seriously," just kind of giving him this big speech, and it's like, he won't let you down, right? And yeah, that's pretty much how it is. So then everybody leaves, and Glenn kind of is acting strange, saying like, "Bye." Well, yeah, they asked him, like, if he wants to go. He's like, oh, I gotta go help Dale do something. And Dale's like, I gotta go find Dale. And he's like, I'm right here. So then Dale knows something strange is going on. And he's like, anything you want to tell me, Glenn? So then Glenn tries to go about this dramatic, like, what if you saw something like you weren't supposed? And Dale's like, don't get dramatic with me. Just tell me what it is. And Glenn says that there's walkers in the bone. He tells him what's going on with that and that Lori's pregnant. So then later on, Dale confronts Herschel about it. And he's like, I've seen what people have done out there. And you don't want to keep these walkers in the barns and something. And Herschel's like, we don't call them walkers. These people are just very sick. They're sick and they need help. We don't murder the sick. Herschel also talks about how his wife and I think his son-in-law is in there, and his neighbors, and it's people that they care about, and they have feelings too, and we're gonna find a cure for them. So yeah, and then he wants Dale to keep this to himself, and he wants to tell Rick about it. He knows Rick has a good conscience, but he's not sure about the other members of the group. And then later on, everybody, Patricia, the other chick, Andrea, I think that's what Andrea, I think, or Andrea, see, my catchphrase is back. I remember the name, and then my camera screwed it up. And Carl are all learning how to use a gun. They're all just shooting bottles and shit. And then they see Andrea has missed her target, and Andrea's like, no, I can pop my target. And then Shane looks at the binoculars, and she's shot a no trespassing sign, and then she's shot, so she's like ready for advanced classes, which is good. Is my audio off again? No. I just keep thinking my audio's off. But then back at the camp, Herschel's like, you guys are going to be... Lori thanks Herschel for everything he did for Carl. And Herschel says, now that your boys are all fixed, you guys are going to be on your way soon, right? And Lori's like, huh? Well, Lori doesn't understand. And she confronts Rick about it. And Rick's like, I'm going to do everything we can to make us sure we can stay. I'm just going to try to keep away from Herschel for a while, and then I'll see if we can stay. But if we can't stay, I'll do whatever it takes to protect you and Carl, and we'll get by. But Lloyd doesn't really wants to stay because of the kid, of the baby. You know what the funny thing is I think since there's no hospital really, how is Lloyd going to find out if it's... I guess Lloyd has to be a surprise because she can't really know if it's a boy or a girl. Anyhow, what else happens? So then later on, Dale confronts Lori. I know this is all like mixed up, but it's all the same story, so it's... I didn't really take notes, so... But Dale talked, and Lori had smelled meat, and I guess you can't... I don't really know how this works, but I guess she shouldn't have meat when she's pregnant. Wouldn't be a good idea for the baby. Even though my mom had chocolate bars when I was a kid, and I love chocolate bars now. And Dale talks about like, oh, I remember being pregnant that I guess his wife had a miscarriage, and she was devastated. But before that, she couldn't stand the smell of meat. She couldn't stand it so much that on Thanksgiving Day she couldn't come in the house for 2 days. And Lori admits that she's pregnant. Well, I guess she already knew, and then Dale's like, are you not going to tell anybody? And Lori says, it actually is Rick's kid, which is a positive. I actually thought it was Shane's, because, you know, after what happened in the second episode of the first season, but that's not what happened. And she says, I wanted to keep all the memories inside, and she doesn't want to tell Rick because it's already bad enough for Carl because they have to grow up in this world where they have to learn how to survive, and they're not going to have any good memories. Carl's going to be the same thing. What's he going to really remember that's good, like between Lori and Dale? And Dale says that he'll learn how to strength and trust each other. And Lloyd's like, look at me in the eyes and tell me that our kid will be happy when you're his age, but he can't do it. And then Lloyd goes and confronts Glenn. And she's like, you're right, I could use some help. I need you to go into town and get me some stuff. And Glenn's like, I'll do anything. And then Lloyd's not really pissed at Glenn that he said something. I guess she's like, I should have dragged you into it in the first place. And then what else happens next? I'm gonna talk about I guess Glenn going into the Glenn and Maggie go into town to get the supplies that Lloyd needs. And Maggie's pissed at Glenn that he told Dale about what happened, about, that there's walkers in the barn. And she's like, you ruined my trust. And Glenn says, why do you want to help these walkers? I've seen what the walkers are like. Pretty much the same thing that Dale said to Herschel. And she's like, they're not walkers. My stepbrother, my mother are all in there, and I can't stand it. And then later on, they go inside. They're all still pissed. And Maggie's like, what do you have to get? He's like, it's all secret. And then Maggie's like, oh yeah, so you won't tell me about that, but you're gonna brag about the zombies. And then he shows her what he needs, and she's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So then he has to go. It's all gonna be like birth control stuff, so Lloyd, I guess, can get rid of the kid. Maggie's getting this stuff. She gets attacked by a walker, and then Glenn hits it with a board that was holding up a bunch of shit. And then the zombie gets back up, and Glenn stabs it with a knife repeatedly. And she's all scared. So then she's pissed at Laurie about this. She's like, here's all your shit. You almost got us killed. The next time you need something, go into town yourself and get it. So then Glenn confronts her about it and says, really, it's all my fault. I should have dragged you along with me. And Glenn and Maggie's like, for a smart guy, you're really stupid. And she's like, was that a compliment? So then Maggie kisses him again. This chick's crazy. 1 second she hates him, and the next she loves him, then hates him, then loves him. It's just crazy. And Glenn still goes with her, which is a funny thing. But then they're like, she's like, I've lost 3 people that I cared about, and I can't stand to lose you. Why do you have to continue to go and get this stuff for Rick? You like to go get him, boy. You like the bitch of the group, pretty much. And yeah, that's pretty much how that ended. So, and she's like, anytime there's a zombie in the well, they send Glenn in as bait. So it's pretty much she says that Glenn gets treated like shit in the group. And then I'm going to talk about Shane and Andrea. This was earlier in the episode. Shane's still teaching Andrea how to use the gun. And this time he has like a log, and he has it moved because I guess he's going to work with movable objects now. And he's teaching her, and he's being really strict with her, and she keeps missing. And she's like, you have to release that anger and take it out on the log, because if it gets you, then you're going to miss. And then Glenn, Shane keeps touching us. Like, get this walker. And then he brings up Amy, so then this gets Andrea upset. So later on, she's walking out, and she's pissed at him, and he's like, I was just trying to teach you how get you to get your anger out, and he's like, I shouldn't have brought up Amy, and that was like in his apology, and he's like, you're a real dick sometimes. And he says that you want to, and he asks if he wants to tag along to get Sophia, and she agrees. So later on, they go to a bunch of abandoned buildings, and they go inside that one house, and they're trying to find her. There's a hole through the wall, and Andrea realizes that she's not here. This is a dead end, so I wonder if this isn't a good thing, because now there's no hope of finding her because there's a dead end. Which isn't good. And then a bunch of walkers start coming, and they have to run away. And Rick and switch bots. Shane shoots the ones that are near the car, and Andrea just shoots the other ones that are just not near the car, but just around the town. And Andrea can't shoot them, obviously, because she can't. And then she runs out of bullets, and then Shane covers her. And then she finally reloads, and Shane's not helping. And he's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Go ahead, I'll cover you." And then Andrea finally learns how to shoot the walkers, which was awesome. I'll admit, I didn't. Was a pretty cool moment to see. I marked out for it. And then they get back to the car, and at first Andrea's not getting back in the car, and then we don't really see what happens. We just see a gun get shot. At first I thought Shane killed her, knowing how Shane is, what happened with Otis. And then later on, we see Shane and Andrea. I think I said Lloyd before, by the way, when he said Shane did not kill Lloyd. Shane did not kill Andrea. And they kind of start flirting with each other. Andrea touches Shane's dick. And then afterwards they start making out, and I assume they had sex, but I don't think there was any sex. So then later on they get back to town, and what happens here is Carol's like, "Did you find her?" And they're like, "No." And then Andrea and Carol go away, and it's just Dale and Shane. And Dale's like, "Shane, you have enough gas in that car. Why don't you just do everyone a favor and leave?" He just pretty much tells them to leave. And he's like, "You want me to leave?" And Dale's like, "I know you've been planning to leave." And Shane's like, "Is this all because of Andrea?" And he's like, and Dale says, "No, this is just for the good of the group." And he's like, "Hey, if it wasn't for me, Carl and Lloyd wouldn't be alive right now." And he talks about how they have to appreciate what happened that night. I did a lot for them. And he's like, "You weren't there for that night." And Dale's like, "I know you weren't there, but I was there when you pointed that gun at Rick. And you had him at your sights, and you were going to shoot him." Which I thought was awesome that he brought that up. And Shane's like, "You think I would shoot my best friend? I love him like a brother." And Dale's like, I think I know the exact person that you are." And then Shane says, "Well, if I'm the kind of person that would shoot my best friend, imagine what I would do to someone that I don't like." So I have a feeling Shane's gonna now kill Dale, and the group's gonna get smaller and smaller, which isn't good. And then Rick comes back in the tent, and Glenn had earlier said, this might work. You shouldn't have to face this decision alone. These were like pills that were going to cause abortion, so Lori could get rid of the kid. And then Rick she had taken them, but she had thrown them out. And Rick finds the pills, the empty pills. Hi. Okay. I thought my camera was screwing up again. I think it did. Come on, let me finish this. Alright. I'm really sorry about my camera. I keep getting paranoid that it's going to screw up again. Anyhow, so then Rick confronts Lori about it. And she's like, "Why didn't you tell me we had a kid? We could have gone through this together. You were going to get rid of the kid without him." And Lori's like, "I threw them up." And Rick's like, "You're pissed at me that I'm keeping lies about from you, but you're keeping a big lie from me." And she brings up the fact, like, "Is that why you want us to stay here? So that way we can get on, but that way we can have the kid here instead of having it like in a random spot." And then she says, "I don't want to have a kid in the world like this." And Rick's like, "I can't believe you're thinking about that." And then Lori says, afterwards they stop arguing, and Rick says that we're going to get through this. And then afterwards, Rick's like, "Is there anything, we can't keep living like this, full of lies." So Rick asks, "Is there anything else you want to tell me?" And then she says, "Me and Shane." And Rick's like, "Oh yeah, I know." And I thought actually he knew. She was gonna say that they were in a relationship, and I thought Rick knew, and I was like, he knows. But then he says, "The world went to shit, and you thought I was dead, right?" And Lloyd was like, yeah. So he still doesn't know. It's still all a big lie. But I thought this was actually a really good episode this week. Well, you know, that I watched this week. It's pretty awesome. Can't wait to watch it next week. And the episode, I thought the title fit. The past couple titles have been like haven't really fit. This one fit because there was a lot of secrets happening. Lawyer was keeping something from Wick. Glenn's keeping something from all the group, and then Dale has to keep a secret from everybody else. So I thought this episode fit. And I like the tension that they did with Glenn. No, not Glenn. Well, I like them with Shane and Dale. I want to. Now they're going to be pissed at each other, so I can't wait to see that. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back next week to review another one. I'm sorry if this video sucked, but my camera was sucking, so it's not my fault. But subscribe to this channel, because tomorrow I'll be back to do a Breaking Bad review. I'm sorry. Oh, what the fuck? They didn't stop.